Alrighty, fellow Deathbats and Lady Deathbats. Welcome into Deathbat Nation. I am Sinister J, as always, and on this day 19 years ago, I got dressed up to go to a topic with my Avenged Sevenfold shirt on. 19 years ago today, an album dropped by Avenged Sevenfold. One of the albums I remember the most outside of City of Evil, actually. It was one that came out right after City of Evil, and I still remember to this day. I was very, very excited for it. I had my Avenged Sevenfold shirt on. I went over to Hot Topic just to pick the album up because I pre-ordered it and it came out. So I'm using this video today to talk about that particular album, and I want to go a full score rating on that particular album for myself 19 years later. So let's just get into it. Alright, so as you can see here, the release date of the album was specifically on October 30th, which is what today is on 2007. Now, the album itself was very good. I'm gonna go into talking about how I feel about all the songs and give you guys let you guys know my favorite songs off the album. On top of that, I'm going to talk about the album artwork in general and all that, but this was when this album released, and it was one of the more anticipated albums. Like, everybody that I knew that liked Avenged Sevenfold really anticipated this album coming out, and it was a very, very good one at that. Like, I remember hearing it on the radio, and I heard critical acclaim. No. Almost Easy was what it was. I'm sorry, I get those two mixed up. Almost Easy, when it was played on the radio and I heard it, I was like, oh, that sounds so good. So, me being the person I am, we had a habit of trying to, at that point in time, we were trying to find music on the internet and all that, and that was the sort of pirating music and all that. So I did try to find a song, but I actually waited for the album to come out because it just felt a lot better having the actual album in your hand and all that. So it was just an awesome time, and I do remember heading out to Hot Topic, just picking it up, and I think I even picked up a shirt that day too, also. But I did have an Avenged Sevenfold shirt. I do remember wearing it. Was the black and white one, said Avenged Sevenfold across it. It's completely different to my City of Evil shirt that I have. Now, let's get into talking more about the album artwork and the album itself. So we'll go over here. Now, I'm going to go over album artwork and rate that myself. And then I'm going to give you a glance of what the CD inside looks like, because this was the only picture I have of it, because I don't have my album collection with me right now. It might be at my mom's still or something like that, which I'm not going to really talk about why I can't get that back. But anyway, the album artwork was very white. Okay, it was a very clean look. The way this looks right here on your screen right here, how you see it, they did imprint a Deathbat onto the very front of the cover album, and the whole thing was just pure white, except for the typing, the font on it, and the art in general on the cover. They just did a really clean look to it, and it just did what it needed to. It was the perfect example of what I felt what described the album. We were getting Avenged Sevenfold out of it. All you gotta do is put the Deathbat on the front of it. So, but let's hop over to the next screen here, and then I'll get back into all the songs. Now, right here in the center is the actual CD itself and what the CD looked like. They really did make it basic, white, clean look album at that point in time, and they still managed to pull it off in the album. The album matches the way the covers for some reason. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way about music you listen to, but I do think this matched exactly what they were aiming for, where they were that good they could just print a Deathbat onto the album cover, and they leave it like that. And they got one sitting here, and then along the edges you see the print, which is the name of each song on the album. And then if you turn it over to the back, it was just a font of the names and a font of the I think the band's name and all that. And the album was just called Avenged Sevenfold. So that was what was really just, you knew who they were because you heard them everywhere because they did such a good job on City of Evil that this was the next one that everybody waited for. And by that point, you knew who the hell they were. You didn't even argue with, well, who am I listening to? No, you knew who the hell they were because the way the music was played. So let's get back to this screen right here. So there are 10 songs on there. Okay, there's a lot of songs on here that I really liked. My favorites are which I do listen to, which I do pick outside of the mainstream ones. All right, so all in all, the album started to transition in a new direction. So example for I want to say A Brompton Cocktail was the point in the album where you knew they were trying to head in a different direction with their music. Like, it was still them, but they did something with that song where they played the blues rhythm at the very beginning, and that's what made it a little bit different. And then Dear God came out around that time, which is more of a slower song by them, very country-like. So they were trying to do a Southern roots kind of thing, which was really, really good in general, and I thought they did a good job on the album overall. Like, the album, I'm going to give it a high rating because it's Avenged Sevenfold, of course, but the album overall is very, very good. All right, so going down the list of things and songs I actually like from this album, I have my favorites that are not mainstream, and all of them are not mainstream. So the three I mainly really like off of this album because I do like all the songs off of this album, actually. I like Critical Acclaim. The way they opened up that album for this was very, very good, and it made a very clear political statement at that point in time. More like the government was it was at that stage where all the young people were growing up and we were starting to realize what politics were. So we got into expressing that through music and all that. So that's what Avenged Sevenfold did at the time. But Critical Acclaim starts off so badass and so good, and it's just right to the very point with that song. All right, Scream is another one I really like. I like that song because of how it's played and what the music describes in it, because it does describe a bit of a human emotion in it, which is a very good thing that they did for that song. That is one of my more favorite songs. And I really like I want to say Unbound. Unbound is the other one that's really, really good and sounded unique because what they did is they added something into it that was different at the time. So they added somebody else singing into the song, and that's what they did with a few of these songs is they put another person in to help sing the songs. I don't know who did it, but it was a young kid. I think it may have been M Shadow's son or something like that or something. But yeah, you just heard it in the song. So those are my three picks, okay? And then the very popular song off here is played during Halloween time. It is a very Halloween song, but it is a very, very disturbing Halloween song. I will admit to that. I do like the way it is, and it reminds me a lot of if you've seen Nightmare Before Christmas. No, not Corpse Bride. It reminds me a lot of Corpse Bride on that level of creepy, eerie. A story about two people falling in love, and one's dead and the other one wasn't, and eventually she comes back, so on and so forth. She comes back to life, ends up killing the guy, and they fall in love again, and they get married, and they're married forever for the rest of their life, even until death didn't even do them part. They were married in the afterlife. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff here that was very good, and they just did a really good job at this album. And the whole album, throughout the whole album, you're not gonna always have the same sound because there's stuff that's different in it, but it is still a really, really good album, and it did again change music history because they put their all into it. So but that's it. I'm gonna go back, give my full rating on this album, and then that'll be it. All right, so because this was a very, very good album at the time, and still is a very good album till this day, because a lot of people I see listening to it, and I myself, like I said, I pull the album, I'll put the album up on my phone sometimes, and I jam out to it, rock out to it, walk down the street to it. Um, so I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10. It is a very good album, and it's enough to say it's Avenged Sevenfold. So what do you can't expect anything less, and that's why I've a lot of their music is very good. So I made this whole like theme of this channel around them. So that's why I did it, because I was a huge fan, and I still am to this day. And you know, what can I say? They've released so many good albums. They are on a roll with their career, and they've been on a roll with their career for a long time. They have other stuff going on. They're leading now in the music industry for certain things. Like I know I've talked about it here, but not enough. NFTs. They're using finding a way to utilize NFTs in a manner that nobody else thought of yet, and they're running that. And they got me inspired to do artwork, and they're just all around becoming a jack of all trades. They're becoming a staple that in the music industry that nobody else was, and they're doing things that nobody else in the music industry is right now. So that's another reason why I give them so much credit. But yeah, guys, if you haven't listened to that album yet, please do so. It is another good one, and I may likely post some shorts up from it today. I already posted a lot of shorts from it, unfortunately, but I'm sure I'll find more to post. There's always other songs on that album I don't think I touched yet. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, take it easy and rock on, fellow Deathbats and Lady Deathbats. Take it easy.